Hello, you're listening to the OmniTalk Fast 5, brought to you in partnership with Microsoft, the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Takeoff, Sezzle, and Silk. All right, let's go to headline number 3. So, Chris, Goodwill has launched its own online thrift store, GoodwillFinds.com. As reported by the retail leader and according to Goodwill, shoppers can go to GoodwillFinds.com to find a selection of women's, men's, and children's clothing, along with books, specialty and collector's items, and home decor. According to the retailer, there were already hundreds of thousands of items available for purchase when the site launched last week. Chris.
Yes.
This is we don't talk about Goodwill that often.
We've never talked about Goodwill.
I don't know that we've ever talked about Goodwill in this capacity, but what do you think about this one?
Oh, man, I don't even know where to start on this one. I mean, the first thing it tells me is that the resale trend is real, and that the market, if you read the article, too, it says the secondhand market is expected to grow. I mean, you see these numbers all the time.
Yeah.
The one in the article is 127% by 2026.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, to me, either Goodwill is being impacted by the rise of the secondhand marketplace, or they want a bigger growing cut of that growing pie.
Sure. Mm-hmm. So
the other point to me, though, is holy cow, you go through the website, this thing is a massive undertaking.
Yep.
But I know you have tons of thoughts on that. So, why don't you share your thoughts?
I love a good thrift day.
Yeah, you do.
I will spend hours in a
thrifter.
Goodwill. I love it. So this kind of bums me out a little bit because there's no
Wow.
thrill of the hunt. This is now like a full-on e-commerce site, and something about finding that gem for $2.99 that's really worth 5 times what it's being sold for at Goodwill.
Yeah.
But I understand that there's a lot of people who are not like me who hate the thought of going into a Goodwill.
Yeah.
And this concept is
Yeah.
a great way we know there's a demand for this kind of stuff. Like, you look at the site, I encourage all the listeners, go check this out because it is very well executed. I have to say it. My expectations were low for this experience, and
it really was.
Really well done. You and I were looking on it yesterday.
A few things that could be improved, but for the most part, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I have questions though about how this will, how the margins here are still available to Goodwill. Yes, they're getting the product for nothing. People are turning their products into the Goodwill, but they have product photography in here.
Right.
They have sourcing. They likely have a DC that's holding all of this inventory because it's not being pulled from the piles of racks of 1988 Christmas decor and toilet seats that are turned into Goodwill every day. Yeah. They have pickers that are now going through all these items at each of these locations. Like, there's a lot going into the production of this. So I guess for me, I'm questioning, how sustainable is this? Are they still going to get these products when resale starts to increase? When brands start to take control of their own resale, are we still going to see the products like a Lululemon sports bra being donated to Goodwill? Maybe there's still, there might be that, but do we start to see, less coming into the Goodwill and this model not being able to support itself quite as much anymore? But for the time being, I love it. Brands, get your resale stuff together because...
Yeah, which is a $64,000 question with e-commerce in general and resale. So I think net, you got to make the margin work in total, right? And so, it probably depends on the mix of products that they'll eventually figure out that they're selling through this platform or not.
Right.
And needing to leverage some higher priced pointed items than they typically do in their stores to make that work, to defray the cost of shipping. Yeah, it's a great point.